The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista. Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen along with Nicole Gitsky, and this morning for Alex. And yeah, we're dealing with that fire up in the Kern River Valley. We already had smoke that we were dealing with from other areas' wildfires. And now we've got this one.
Yes, even driving here, I could smell it through my air conditioning unit, or even when I got outside, my throat kind of got scratchy. So we are definitely feeling the effects from that. Let's turn things over right now to Kevin Charette, who can kind of give us a more in-depth look. Kevin?
Well, we were all hoping that this wouldn't happen here in Kern County, a fire breaking out, but it did yesterday, and it is in a very dense area of vegetation, so we're going to have to watch this carefully as we go throughout the day. I want to show you a live picture right now from the French Fryer from the Edison camera, and you can see the flames are showing brightly this morning. It's always hard to fight these fires at night. Up in the Lake Isabella area, 66 degrees right now, dew point at 36, humidity is up a little bit, 33%, and the winds are fairly light out of the south-southwest at 7 miles per hour. So at least we don't have really strong winds, according to the observation site near the Lake Isabella area. And as we go throughout the day up in Lake Isabella, we will look for some hazy conditions. Temperatures will be starting out in the 60s, and then we will be looking at some mid-80s as we progress into the afternoon. Here at home yesterday, well, we did it. We kept you below 90. 89 was your high yesterday. Right on track with what we were thinking. Remember, upper 80s, maybe hitting 90 degrees. And again, that was the first time we've hit the 80s since June 15th. And we also have air quality warnings still in place until Friday at 11 a.m. because of the smoke mainly drifting out of the north from the Dixie fire. But now we'll have to see how the smoke out of Lake Isabella impacts us as well. We've got clear skies out there. 64 degrees in Bakersfield. What a nice temperature. A north wind at 5. As we take a look at the hour-by-hour forecast for today, we will be rising in the lower 80s by 11 a.m. and then lower 90s by 3. So really not a bad day out there once again. Out of Tehachapi, we've got 54 degrees under a calm wind right now, and hour by hour, you can see those temperatures back into the upper 70s. More weather to come in just a little bit. For now, back over to you.
All right, thanks so much, Kevin. We begin this morning with that wildfire burning just west of Lake Isabella. It exploded in size last night, prompting evacuations.
Now, the so-called French fire started around 4:30 yesterday afternoon near the corner of Waggy Flat Road and Sawmill Road. That's west of Lake Isabella, just east of the Oak Ridge campgrounds. Now, the American Red Cross has set up an evacuation center. It's located at the Kern River Valley Senior Center at 6403 Lake Isabella Boulevard.
At first reports, the French fire was just 5 acres, but this time-lapse video shows how quickly that changed. In less than 2 hours, the blaze jumped to 900 acres, and now it has burned well over 2,000 acres of dry brush.
Now, the last update from Kern County Fire Department came just after 9 p.m. last night. With over 2,000 acres burned, the blaze was just 0% contained at that time. It's not clear how many structures have burned. We're still waiting on an update from fire officials this morning. Now, as 17's Moses Small reports, fire crews are waging an all-out effort to knock down the blaze from the ground to the skies.
This is what wildfire season looks like in Kern County. The French fire erupted in the community of Sawmill at about 4:30 Wednesday afternoon. Crews urged residents to evacuate as the Red Cross set up an evacuation center at the Kern River Valley Senior Center.
Come on in. We're open 24/7, and there'll be someone there to greet you with a water bottle, a snack if you need it, and we have cots set up. We will make sure we have enough beds for anybody who needs them.
Larry Murray lives nearby in Lake Isabella.
It's burning pretty good, and pretty soon the helicopters won't be able to fly. And after that starts, then it'll just spread.
First responders say it started in dense woods, consuming multiple homes. County Fire sending crews on the ground and helicopters to drop water on the blaze. This comes as nearly the entire county faces what experts call exceptional drought, turning dry vegetation into fuel while strong winds fan the flames. CAL FIRE says 2021 is on track to outpace last year's record of over 4 million acres burned. No word yet on how the fire started or when these residents can return home, and for some, the fire has robbed them of even that chance to return back to where they live. In Sawmill, Moses Small, 17 News.
Meantime, the American Red Cross has set up that evacuation center. Again, it's located at the Kern River Valley Senior Center. That's 6403 Lake Isabella Boulevard. A reminder that one of the easiest ways to be prepared for potential wildfires and other disasters like earthquakes is to sign up for alerts from Kern County Emergency Services. Just go to readykern.com.
We're also following the Caldor fire this morning as thousands have been evacuated from El Dorado County. The Caldor fire has burned at least 62,000 acres this hour. The blaze ripped through the community of Grizzly Flats, leaving very little more than debris in its wake. Evacuation centers have filled up as more areas come under threat of the fire. CAL FIRE said at least 86 structures have been destroyed and nearly 6,000 structures are under threat. The fire is 0% contained. And the Dixie Fire has now burned more than 662,000 acres. Emergency teams are battling the fire both on the ground and in the air. Officials say the fire is only 35% contained. CAL FIRE officials expect the fire to spread as warming temperatures are causing wind speeds to increase.
Meantime, we learned overnight a man was killed in a crash in central Bakersfield. The accident happened just before 8:30 at the intersection of Oak Street and Chester Lane. According to the BPD, the driver of a black SUV was headed south on Oak Street when he veered off the road and crashed into a pole. He died at the scene. The cause of the crash was not immediately known, but according to police, witnesses said they heard a pop sound before the collision. The investigation is ongoing.
Now in your 17 Court Watch, the Kern County District Attorney's Office yesterday filed charges against the Kern County Fair's former maintenance supervisor. William Joseph Hebert is accused of stealing nearly 24 tons of scrap metal over a 2-year period. DA Cynthia Zimmer announced her office filed charges against Hebert, who worked for the 15th District Agriculture Association, the official name of the county fair. Hebert has been charged with 3 counts of felony grand theft for allegedly stealing more than 43,000 pounds of material from the fairgrounds and selling it between July 2017 and June 2019. In a related matter, the DA said charges would not be filed over accusations in an August 2019 state audit that found that board members exceeded their reimbursement rate on what the audit described as lavish meals, wasteful tips, and alcohol.
We looked at other accusations against Mr. Hebert and other members of the Kern County Fair, and that the conclusions that were stated in the state audit. We requested the evidence from the state as regarding their investigation, and they refused to give us the evidence that led to their conclusions and cited the California Whistleblower Protection Act.
The DA's investigation determined the board members believed they were within acceptable expense parameters based on advice they received from a deputy attorney general tasked with advising the board on such matters.
The Bakersfield City Council met in closed session yesterday afternoon to discuss a recent American Civil Liberties Union report scrutinizing the Bakersfield Police Department. The report names BPD as one of the deadliest police departments in the nation, saying it's killing Black and Latino people in the vast majority of deadly force cases. BPD slammed the report, calling it irresponsible, saying the ACLU uses out-of-context statistics to generate publicity and controversy. The department also says it was not provided with a chance to review, fact-check, or comment on the ACLU's finding before the report was released. The City Council did not provide public comment on what aspects of the report were discussed by council members.
Looking ahead to October, the 2021 Greek Food Festival is right around the corner. St. George Greek Orthodox Church announced yesterday it is holding the festival October 1st through the 3rd. It's happening those days at the church on Truxton Avenue in downtown Bakersfield. The church says attendees can look forward to a fun-filled day of authentic Greek barbecue, coffee, and pastries, along with live music and dancing. Attendance is $5, but kids under 12 get in free. For more information, just head to bakersfieldgreekfoodfestival.org. Meantime, a local church needs your help to stay open. Blessing Corner Ministries is a staple of compassion in the Bakersfield community, known for their generous giveaways, clothing drives, and food distributions. Pastors John and Bonnie Turner have been at their First Street and Union Avenue location since 2005. They have until the end of August to raise enough money to stay in business. That's why KGET is teaming up with Blessing Corner to host a barbecue fundraiser. It's happening next Wednesday at the Blessing Corner from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Welcome back if you're waking up with us. I don't remember the last time we had 60-degree temperatures.
I know, look at these temperatures. These are nice. Maybe if you've been wanting to do that morning walk or run in the morning, well, you can do it today. Just keep in mind, we do have a little bit of that smoky haze out there. I know I took a walk last night and it was affecting me a little bit as well. So just caution on that front. But the temperatures are very nice. 64 in Bakersfield, 60 in Delano, mid-60s out of Taft. And in the mountains, we've got 40s, 50s, and 60s. Pine Mountain Club checking in at 49, 54 in Tehachapi, and right now 63 for Lake Isabella. As we take a look at the high for yesterday, 89 degrees, right on track with what we were thinking. We were going to teeter between 89 and 90, and we should be right around 97 this time of year. The record for today, 109, set back in 1950, and our sunset will be at 7:40 this evening. As we take a look at the satellite and radar, it is a quiet morning once again under clear skies. We got a little bit of cloud cover along the coastal areas. That's about it, and a little bit of moisture off to the east, but that's exactly where it is going to stay. Temperatures right now, mid-30s out of Tahoe, a chilly start there, 67 in Fresno, 60s, lower 70s down to the south. Vegas at 74, and right now Bakersfield is down 10 degrees from where we were yesterday, and Tahoe is down 8 degrees, Los Angeles down 5, so nice to see all these temperatures down. And as we take a look at today, it'll be a comfortable day in Tahoe at 71, the Bay Area at 67, Morro Bay 68, even to the north of us, Fresno, lower 90s, and Vegas breaking the triple digits with 96, even Phoenix, not a bad day in the upper 90s. So here's why. We've got that trough we were talking about now over Nevada. We are going to see a little bit of ridging build in here the next few days. That will bring our temperatures up slowly day by day. We still have that northerly flow in place, and that means that smoke from the Dixie Fire is still going to make its way our direction. And I could see it last night as I was taking a walk. I could almost see the smoke drifting in. The sun got orange. Here's a look at the forecast. And again, we talk about the Dixie Fire. That fire grew about 30,000 acres yesterday, 35% containment now. And you can see much of the state is encompassed in this smoke. And as I put this into motion, it increases into Kern County heading into the end of the work week here. So it is definitely something we're going to have to deal with, and we'll have to see that fire out of Lake Isabella where that smoke kind of drifts throughout today. Air quality will be moderate, AQI at 85, and your forecast calling for a sunny day, and it'll be a nice cool day as well. 92 in Bakers, I say cool compared to the triple digits. Keep that in perspective. 91 in Taft, 90 in Maricopa, and then for the mountains, so we're looking at a northwest wind 10 to 15 today. 78 in Frazier Park, 79 in Tehachapi with 80s to lower 90s into the Kern River Valley. And then for the desert today, sunny, a northeast wind 5 to 10 and upper 80s in Mojave. Here's a look at that extended forecast, and you can see a gradual warm up here. Tomorrow 96, then down Saturday, Sunday, and then back up right near 100 Tuesday and Wednesday, trying to keep the triple digits off the board. As we take a look at the mountain forecast, tomorrow 84, a little cooler on Saturday to 81, and then right back in the upper 80s by next Tuesday and Wednesday. Overnight, though, comfortable into the 50s to lower 60s. And then for the Kern River Valley, tomorrow 93, 91 for Saturday, and then we're back into the upper 90s next Tuesday and Wednesday. So a little bit of a warm up in the long term, short term, looking really nice here.
Just wish we could get rid of this smoke, but now we've got the French fire, really close by, so
Yeah.
it's not going to happen, it doesn't seem like.
Yeah, and when things are, I'm not sure how things are going to go today with the French fire. Hopefully, we can get an upper hand on that. It is in a very, I would say, dense area in terms of vegetation, and that never fares well with these fires. But we have a good team here in Kern County, and I know they'll be battling it hard.
They're working hard.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Kev. Welcome back here at 520. Washington, D.C. has a new museum, but there are no paintings, no sculptures, and no suits of armor. Instead of learning about the history of art, you may end up learning more about yourself. 17th Sierra Ryder explains.
This museum is all about words, beyond what you see on a page. Anne Friedman is a former first grade teacher and now philanthropist who dreamed it up.
I could turn, the abstract concepts of words and language into museum exhibits.
And ironically,
for a museum about words and language, we have very little where you're reading. We didn't want you to have to read text and labels. We wanted you to experience and participate.
With the focus on touch, sound, and movement.
We tell this story with sound and light and motion and it's voice activated.
The experience starts with a speaking willow tree that features 364 different languages as you move underneath it. and if you listen closely, you might be able to hear them. A priority is making people from all over the world feel included.
I want everybody to feel like this is a place for them, that they're welcome here no matter what language they speak or how they speak English. We celebrate how language is actually used by people. So you have to guess what the expression or the idiom is. Watchdog.
Friedman considers it a success if people leave Planet Word more aware of what they say.
You would listen to yourself more carefully and the words that you select and that you say. You're more alert to the voices and words of other people, more empathy, that, you know, things don't have to be the way they are in English.
And that's the word from Washington. Sierra Ryder, 17 News.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to check that one out.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
In your 17 Business Watch, Home Depot says it quickly sold out of an early release of Halloween products. The home improvement retailer recently offered shoppers a sneak peek at its Halloween products online and sold through everything almost immediately. Experts say the spooky sales are sending a signal that consumers will be eager to decorate their homes this fall and winter. The full assortment of Home Depot's Halloween decor is expected to go on sale in the coming weeks. And whip out your checkbooks because a new Girl Scout cookie is on the menu for next year. Oh man, look at that. The Adventurefuls cookie will join the nationwide lineup for the 2022 Girl Scout cookie season. The brownie-inspired cookie features caramel-flavored cream and a hint of sea salt. Girl Scouts across the United States will offer the Adventurefuls cookie next season alongside fan favorites like Thin Mints and Samoas.
I don't know. Samoas have long been my favorite, but
Those
these
look
may be in competition.
pretty good.
They look delicious. All right, 526, it's back to school season, including for college students. As we all found out last year, certain circumstances, including COVID, can derail a student's semester. CNBC senior personal finance correspondent Sharon Epperson has more on how to protect that college investment.
It's a lesson college students need to know, but probably don't want to experience. Most schools will not refund tuition if a student has to leave school after the first few weeks.
Only 6% of universities, and most of those are graduate schools, provide a refund if a student has to withdraw for a legitimate reason. So if a death of a parent, for instance, if you get a concussion, if you get mono, if you get COVID, if you become seriously ill with anxiety or depression, universities are not in position today to provide refunds.
But tuition insurance will reimburse you for tuition as well as housing and fees in some cases, as long as your withdrawal is for legitimate medical or psychological reasons. Most schools offer tuition insurance through a third party like AWG Doer or GradGuard. You'll pay about 1% of the cost of tuition for a policy at GradGuard's partner schools. That's $10,000 of coverage for $106. For a little more money, you can buy it on your own if the school doesn't offer it.
Which tuition insurance you buy will dictate how much it will reimburse you, what costs you'll be reimbursed for. But I have seen some of them that will reimburse you up to 100%.
With COVID cases on the rise and mental health concerns, GradGuard says it sold double the number of tuition insurance policies for this fall compared to last. For CNBC, I'm Sharon Epperson.
Welcome back and thanks for joining us. Time now is 5:30 a.m. And if you're waking up with us, you're going to be hit with cooler temperatures, but also some very poor air quality out there.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that we finally are getting the cooler temperatures and now we are dealing with all of this smoke, Kev. But I noticed this morning as I was leaving, it was like cold actually in Tehachapi.
Yeah, compared to what we've been used to, even outside here in Bakersfield, nice temperatures to start out. But you hit the nail on the head there, Nicole. While we're getting good temperatures, the air quality isn't the best because of the Dixie fire. And now we've got this fire burning in Kern County. This is a French fire, and this is the Edison camera, and this is actually a live picture. It updates every few seconds here, and you can see the fire is still very active around the area up near Lake Isabella. So now we've got smoke from that fire as well that we'll be dealing with. In terms of the Kern conditions up there. 63 degrees out of Lake Isabella, dew point at 38, 36% on the humidity, and a light wind out of the south-southwest at 7 miles per hour. So we'll be watching these conditions very intently as we go throughout the afternoon. Now we will be starting out in the 60s, so good temperatures, and then this afternoon, not expecting too hot of a day, so that might be good news for firefighters, expecting the 80s. Usually just a week ago we were in the triple digits, so this forecast is actually pretty good for all those firefighters. Air quality warning still in place until Friday at 11 a.m. And as we take a look at the temperature right now in Bakersfield, I said it was comfortable. Yeah, 64 degrees, a light wind out of the north at 5, but it's that north wind that's bringing that smoke from the north to the south. And then we talk about the temperatures today, and we are expecting some lower 90s throughout the afternoon, so just slightly warmer than yesterday. And then out of Tehachapi, 55 degrees, west wind at 3 right now, visibility good. And as we take a look at the hour by hour, we will be into the 70s, so nice and comfortable up in the Tehachapi area this afternoon. We'll talk more weather in a bit, but first, back over to you.
All right, thanks so much for that, Kevin. Recapping our top stories now this morning. A man was killed in a solo crash in Central Bakersfield last night. According to BPD, the driver of a black SUV was going southbound on Oak Street when he veered off the roadway and crashed into a pole on Chester Lane. He died at the scene. The investigation is ongoing. The Kern County District Attorney's Office yesterday filed criminal charges against the Kern County Fair's former maintenance supervisor. William Joseph Hebert is accused of stealing nearly 24 tons of scrap metal over a 2-year period. He's been charged with 3 counts of felony grand theft. And the 2021 Greek Food Festival is returning this year. St. George Greek Orthodox Church made the announcement yesterday. It's happening October 1st through the 3rd at the church on Truxton Avenue in downtown Bakersfield.
And out of that breaking news we brought you earlier this morning, evacuation orders are in effect near Lake Isabella after a wildfire exploded in size last night. It started around 4:30 yesterday afternoon near the corner of Waggy Flat Road and Sawmill Road. At first reports it was just 5 acres, but it quickly jumped to more than 2,000 acres within just a few hours. The last update from Kern County Fire Department came just after 9 p.m. last night. Fire officials said the blaze was 0% contained at that time. We're still waiting on an update from fire officials this morning. As we mentioned, evacuation orders are in effect for those in the Sawmill Road area. The American Red Cross has set up an evacuation center located at the Kern River Valley Senior Center at 6403 Lake Isabella Boulevard. We have a 17 News crew on scene this morning checking out the conditions, so we'll bring you an update as soon as we learn more on how that fire is progressing this morning. Make sure to download our 17 News app to get the latest updates. And you can also get alerts from Kern County Emergency Services. Just go to readykern.com.
This morning, the pace of evacuation flights out of Afghanistan is intensifying. Still, there is growing concern that Americans aren't getting out fast enough. And senior Biden administration officials now acknowledge there are signs the Taliban is blocking access to the airport in Kabul for some Afghan nationals who worked alongside U.S. troops over the last 2 decades. Jay Gray is on Capitol Hill with the latest.
Nicole, good morning. The president continues to deflect criticism and defend the decision to pull troops out of Afghanistan, while this morning it's clear that Taliban's grip is tightening across the region. At the airport in Kabul, more U.S. troops and now more evacuation flights.
This is an all-hands-on-deck effort, and we aren't going to let up.
But away from the airport, checkpoints have intensified, with reports of shots fired, Afghans mauled by Taliban fighters. In Jalalabad, witnesses say 3 protesters were gunned down during a protest against the new regime. The situation so unstable, officials now acknowledge they don't have the manpower to ensure safe passage to the airport for Americans or the tens of thousands of Afghans who may be eligible for asylum.
We're going to do everything we can to continue to try to deconflict and create passageways for them to get to the airfield.
As the tense situation continues to unfold.
That's not the
Is that too high?
President Biden, in an interview with ABC News, defends his decision to withdraw troops and says he knew the reaction on the ground would be severe.
The idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens.
But the administration insists. Intelligence reports indicated the collapse would take weeks or months and that no one knew the country could fall in just days. And time really continuing to be an issue. The White House deadline for having troops completely out of Afghanistan is the end of the month. In Washington, Jay Gray, 17 News.
And street evangelist Tom Alexander of Walk the Cross has organized a prayer event in response to the ongoing crisis in Afghanistan. Alexander says he wants people to gather and pray for the people of Afghanistan and our own government. It's happening tonight at the Liberty Bell on Truxtun Avenue in downtown Bakersfield from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Now to coronavirus in Kern County and around the state. California hospitals are now teaming up to find beds as this new surge of COVID-19 threatens to overwhelm healthcare facilities. Kern County Public Health announced the state's ordering hospitals to accept patients from other hospitals' intensive care units if they get too full. The order says the county and state need to search for hospitals to send patients if ICU capacity drops below 10% for 3 days or hits zero. The search starts with the county, then the region. If all the intensive care units in those areas are full, patients could be sent to any hospital in California. No word yet on when that order will expire.
The White House COVID team announced yesterday that pending FDA evaluation, booster shots will be offered to Americans beginning September 20th. According to the Surgeon General, those who receive the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines would be eligible for the third shot 8 months after receiving that second one. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky says while the vaccine's protection against severe disease remains relatively high, data suggests your immunity can lessen over time. President Biden also talked about approval of the COVID booster shot. He also said it's important that students, many of whom are not eligible to get the vaccine, wear masks in the classroom.
And as I said before, if you aren't going to fight COVID-19, at least get out of the way of everyone else who's trying. You know, we're not going to sit by as governors try to block and intimidate educators protecting our children.
President Biden also says that nursing home staff at facilities that received federal Medicare and Medicaid funding will need to get vaccinated in order for funding to continue. The new mandate could take effect as soon as next month.
Though the focus on vaccinations remains on COVID-19, it's important to remember to protect yourself against a more traditional threat, the flu. CVS Pharmacy and Walmart announced that they're stocked up on flu vaccines for the fall and offering them to customers. The CDC recommends anyone older than 6 months get a flu shot every year. Though their effectiveness rates aren't as high as COVID-19 vaccines, health experts say flu shots can drastically reduce how harsh a flu infection can become.
Time now 5:39, and from our 17 follow-up file, it's been nearly 3 weeks since the gunman claimed the lives of 4 people during a standoff in Wasco. Today, 3 of those victims will be laid to rest. In the afternoon of July 25th, officials say 41-year-old Jose Manuel Ramirez Jr. shot and killed his 2 sons, Jose and Angel, his partner Viviana, and Kern County Sheriff's Deputy Philip Campus. Family members say Viviana ran a successful photography business. Jose reportedly ran Delano's Best Smog and dreamed of starting a family with his wife, Sari. Meanwhile, Angel planned to start a family as well, running the Ramirez Muffler Shop in Wasco. Services for the Ramirez family are scheduled for today. The funeral will take place at 10 a.m. at Basham and Laura Funeral Care in Shafter. A burial will follow at the Shafter Cemetery.
All right, welcome back. It is 5:43 and parents and kids are waking up, getting ready for another day of school. Most are now back in class.
Yeah, when you ask, you hope to receive, and boy, did I. Yesterday, I was asking for first day of school pictures, and I did get a lot of them. So I'm going to try to show as many as I possibly can. And I want to show you the Whittington family. This is Amy. She's not going into first grade, but she is. She's a teacher here in Kern County, and she is getting ready to celebrate her year as a first grade teacher. And then you've got Levi and Ryder, 2nd and 6th grade. So very excited to hit the ground running in this school year. I'll be showing some other pictures throughout the morning. Let's talk about our weather. It's a nice, comfortable morning. 64 degrees in Bakersfield, 60 in Delano, Buttonwillow, you're at 62. And into the mountains, very little change from last check. We're at 52 in Fraser Park, to Hatchby's at 54 and 63 out of Lake Isabella. Even Ridgecrest, not bad at 63 right now. Satellite and radar showing you clear skies around the state. Few clouds along the coast. That'll give way to mostly sunny skies this afternoon. The only thing we're dealing with today is the smoke that'll be around Kern County. County because of the Dixie Fire, and now the fire up into the Lake Isabella area. But the beaches are looking good today. Yesterday we had a little bit more cloud cover, 68 degrees today, mostly sunny by the afternoon with a light southeast wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. And again, we're tracking the trough that brought us the cooler weather. That is now pushing south and east. We will get a little bit of ridging the next 48 hours. So by tomorrow, we see the temperatures climb a little bit. Then they come down a little for the weekend. But right now, it looks like we'll be below 100. It'll be close, but below 100 in the 7-day extended forecast. And again, we've got that northerly flow in place. And we'll be talking about that and watching it carefully, because whenever we have that north flow, north wind, it pushes that smoke from the Dixie Fire our direction. And I started to see it last night. Here's a look at our surface smoke forecast. With this fire, over 660,000 acres and only 35% containment. As it grows, more smoke, and you can see around the state. We will see it this afternoon into our Friday and probably into our weekend as well. Looks like by Friday evening, it starts to lit up just a little bit, but you can see not only for us, but all areas to the north are going to be dealing with this as well. And we are still tracking Grace, and we will continue so. It is a hurricane now, winds gusting to 100 miles per hour. It's still in its trek to make its way into parts of Mexico as a post-tropical storm on Saturday, and then we'll have to watch the moisture and see where it goes. If it heads a little more near Cabo San Lucas, maybe Mazatlan. But sometimes when these storms cross over Mexico, we see that move into California, and so that would be maybe some thunderstorm activity, or let's hope we could get rain. But right now, it doesn't look too promising. It looks like it's just going to continue its trek out into the Pacific. Air quality will be moderate today, AQI at 85. We'll call for a sunny and hazy day, a northwest wind 5 to 10. 93 in Buttonwillow, Taft, you're at 91, 90 in Delano, 92 for Bakersfield. For the mountains in the Kern River Valley, sunny but also hazy, a northwest wind 10 to 15. 78 in Frazier Park, 74 in Stallion Springs, 80s to lower 90s out of the Kern River Valley, Lake Isabella near 87. And then for the desert, we're looking sunny but also a little hazy, and Mojave at 89. Here's a look at the extended forecast for you. Tomorrow will be right near 96, 93 Saturday, Sunday, and then I talked about getting near 100 again. That'll come into play Tuesday and Wednesday. Overnight temperatures still quite comfortable in the 60s to lower 70s. And then for the mountains, 84 tomorrow, lower 80s for Saturday and Sunday, upper 80s return by Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. And then for the Kern River Valley, 93 tomorrow, 91 on Saturday, and then nearing 100 Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. Overnight in the 60s, so not bad.
So it's going to come back, the heat.
The
We're
heat's
not done
going
with
to
it
come
yet.
back, but not horrible heat.
Yeah.
Just near 100,
That's
just
true.
slightly above the average for this time of year, which is right around 97. So, hey.
This is a nice, tease of hopefully what's to come this fall.
A very nice tease. I just wish we could scour out the smoke.
I know. My throat wishes to.
Yeah.
All morning.
All you
clearing my
asthma
throat.
sufferers out there,
Oh,
you
man,
know,
I feel for
you. I even went for a
That's
walk
rough.
last night and had to do a treatment when I came into the
Really?
house. Yeah, I think a lot of people are having to do that. So.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much, Kevin.
Yep.
Welcome back. 17 News is your local election headquarters. Although Governor Gavin Newsom considers the recall a Republican-led effort, there are Democrats on the ballot. Financial analyst and YouTube star Kevin Paffrath is working to convince voters he is a serious Democratic option. We spoke with one with 17's Ashley Zavala. Take a look.
The California Democratic Party does not have an official backup candidate on the ballot should Governor Gavin Newsom lose the recall. But Democrat Kevin Paffrath, also known as Meet Kevin, is confident he's at least the party's viable plan B.
Gavin Newsom's branding is all about stop the Republican recall. Our argument is this is a Californian recall. People are fed up.
Meet Kevin Paffrath, a political outsider and Democrat in the wide field of Republicans running to replace Governor Gavin Newsom. The 29-year-old financial analyst, YouTube star, and father of 2 boys describes himself as a JFK-style Democrat who wants to apply his economic expertise to state government.
My career teaching folks about finances and wealth building has been all about being efficient with my time, but also helping train others to be efficient with their time so they can build their wealth. So invest in people, in education, in healthcare, mental health education, so that way the costs and burdens on government are actually lower. We then spend less money on Medi-Cal, on welfare, and on social programs, and instead we can lower taxes.
In his first 60 days, Paffrath promises to to immediately focus on the state's homelessness crisis by working with the National Guard to identify 80 facilities to be used as shelters. He also plans to craft an infrastructure package that includes working with the federal government to boost wildfire prevention, increase water access by building a pipeline from California to the Mississippi River, and speed up the legal immigration process. On top of housing, homelessness, wildfire prevention, and state spending, Paffrath says Newsom has also failed on COVID-19. While the Democrat says he is vaccinated and believes in science-based solutions, Paffrath says he does not agree with statewide pandemic-related mandates.
I believe mandates are the responsibility of individual businesses or local communities. I don't believe a governor can blanket say for the entire state we should or should not have mandates.
With recall ballots now in the hands of voters, Governor Newsom has urged his supporters to leave question 2 blank and not pick a replacement candidate. But Paffrath says it's nonsense.
And it's either really stupid or it's sabotage that they don't have a backup. And this is why we think towards the end of this election, it wouldn't be a surprise if they look for a Hail Mary backup option Democrat. And based on polling, we expect that to be us right now. The Democratic Party endorses us in the back door. When I speak with individual representatives from our federal government, when I speak with senators or assemblymen and women, they say, look, we're voting no on recall, but we're voting on the best backup Democrat because leaving a ballot blank doesn't make sense.
Paffrath says regardless of the outcome of this race, he does still plan to run for governor in 2022. At the state capitol, Ashley Zavala, 17 News.
Welcome back here at 5:55. It's video that will make your skin crawl. Rats caught scurrying around classrooms at Shure High School in Montebello. The infestation has led to a delay of the start of the school year for thousands of students. That delay is expected to be at least 2 weeks for a deep clean of the campus. KTLA's Carlos Aceto reports.
A startled rat makes a run for it after jumping from a high school cabinet. This video was taken in May at Shure High School in Montebello, but instructors say the rat infestation only got worse.
Last Monday when I returned, setting up my computer, getting ready to prepare for opening school, I heard like a stampede of mice, like rats.
Al Cuevas teaches government and econ and has documented evidence of rodent droppings around his classroom, among other things.
With rats, there's other disease and other airborne things that can come from rats. It's not safe. It's definitely a health issue for students.
Instead of reopening the campus for in-person learning on Monday, school and district officials delayed the start of the new school year by 2 weeks. Montebello Unified School District sent emails, text messages, and phone calls to all students and parents last Friday, informing them of the last-minute decision.
Unfortunately, that school was not going to be opening on the 16th as planned.
Kathy Rodriguez's grandkid was supposed to start his senior year this week.
Kids were home already for almost a year and a half. The school district should have made it more their attention before these kids came back to school.
The infestation was found in Shure's C building, which houses the library and many of the classrooms. School officials say they're evaluating HVAC systems after finding rodents throughout the building. The interim superintendent put out this statement saying, quote, the district took immediate action and is working with industry experts, including an industrial hygienist who has created a specification for the work that is underway. Out of an abundance of caution, it was determined that the best course of action was to delay the start of school for everyone's safety.
It's a big problem. It's a big issue. 2 weeks doesn't sound like it could be enough.
That was Carlos Aceto reporting. You're welcome for that story
Is
this morning.
disgusting.
Oh, I've got the chills. Oh my God. Wow.